Good morning, third graders. Welcome to our fictional narratives unit and welcome to lesson 12. We today are going to talk about editing for run-on sentences and punctuation. And today is one of our final lessons before we begin our publishing process. So we'll talk more about that tomorrow on Monday. But we will be choosing one of your stories that you've written. So either the first one or the second one to publish. So today, if you plan on publishing your first story, you're actually going to do this editing process for that story. If you plan on publishing your second story, you'll do the editing process for that story. Today, I want to teach you that writers edit for something called run-on sentences. And this is something that you probably have heard about already, but something we're going to be reviewing today. And punctuation, say it with me, punctuation, before they publish their piece. They do this by reading their piece first, noticing their mistake, and fixing it. So we'll talk about that process shortly. But before we do, let's review what a run-on sentence is. When a sentence includes two complete thoughts and does not include the proper punctuation, so say it with me, punctuation, it is called a run-on sentence. So imagine reading a piece and there's no period for a whole paragraph. That sentence is running, and it's hard to take a breath because there's no punctuation. And all of those thoughts go together, and it can be a little confusing to read as a reader. And so you want your reader to be able to read it flawlessly and be able to understand everything you're trying to say and not get distracted by your run-on sentence. Let's take a look at a couple examples. So there are two ways you can fix your run-on sentence. You can add punctuation, say it with me again, punctuation, to create two or more sentences. So here's an example, and I want you to spy where I can put and add punctuation. I went fishing, my brother stayed home. Notice these are two complete thoughts. I went fishing, my brother stayed home. So some of you are already thinking, oh yes, I can put my period right here. Now, after period, I know after period comes the capital letter. So put my period, capital letter. So I'm just going to edit that right in my document and put capital in. But there's also another way that we can avoid a run-on sentence, and that is by using what's called a conjunction. So we create a compound sentence by using conjunction. So let's look at this example right here. Conjunctions are words like and, but, so, or because. And these are important words to add. Now, here's the thing. You don't want to create a compound sentence that goes on and on and on and on and on. If you're going to do a compound sentence, just use two complete thoughts and not several complete thoughts. Let's look at this example again. I went fishing. My brother stayed home. Now I'm looking at over here and what I can choose from. I might say, but my brother stayed home. I went fishing, but my brother stayed home. That is not a run-on sentence anymore. Now, a cool thing to know is that before we use the word but, we put a comma, and it's hard to see, so give me a second. And then we put a space, but my brother stayed home. Now, I know it's a little confusing, but if I were to say this, and my brother stayed at home, I wouldn't need the comma, okay? So we put the comma before but. Okay, so I'm going to fishing, but my brother stayed home. So again, going back to this first one, we just added a period. Here, we added that comma and the but, so conjunction. Let's take a look at how we're going to do this, the process of doing this. Now, we have gone over this before in class, but you might not remember, so let's go over it. So there are 3 simple steps to editing your document, and not just for punctuation, but for run-on sentences as well. So first you read it, so you'll go back to your document and start reading your piece aloud. So that means you're going to read it out loud. That's really helpful in order to spot some of your errors. You might even do it with someone you live with. So you might have someone side by side with you and you're going to read it out loud to them, okay? And then as soon as you notice it, you might notice, oh wait, I just realized I did a really long run-on sentence without ever putting punctuation. Or, ooh, I noticed I didn't use a capital letter at the beginning of a sentence. You notice it, and right away, you fix it right away. And then once you're done, you repeat the process. So let's practice this process with a couple examples. So this is an example that I literally took from one of my students' writing. So I'm not going to use any names because the student did a really great job. And I noticed that they were using some run-on sentences. So let's help the student out and let's help them out with any punctuation we see as well. So first we're going to do read it. And remember, you're going to put a thumbs up as soon as you notice it. So as I'm reading it, already have your thumb up if you notice something that we can edit either for capitalization or run-on sentence. Yep, a lot of you are already thinking the student needs to put a capital letter right here in the beginning of their sentence. So it was already 10:30. He was in a hurry. I think the student meant to say in. It was already 10:30. He was in a hurry. Wait, pause. Some of you already went like this. So a lot of you are thinking those are two complete thoughts. It was already 10:30. He was in a hurry. I wonder if we could add a conjunction or a period. Now, I think I could add a conjunction here, so I'm going to do that. And he was in a hurry. But I don't want to have too many conjunction words in one sentence. So I'm actually going to go ahead and just put a period right here. And I don't want to start a sentence with the word so. I've been seeing that a lot in some of your writing, and we don't need it. We might say that when we talk, and that's okay. But actually, as writers, we actually don't need this word so. We can just say then or just start the sentence. I might even just start the sentence here. And when I do that, a lot of you are already noticing capital letter. He got in the car and he went to go, look, the student used a conjunction. That's good. He got in the car and he went to go find another Pete's Coffee near him. But I see another conjunction, so I'm going to pause here and say I'm going to end this sentence. Okay. And there were no Pete's Coffee around him. I wonder if this student could also use the word but actually we don't want to usually start this sentence with but, so we might say a cool third grade word. However, there were no Pete's Coffee around him. Read on to know more of what he did. A lot of you had your thumb up again. However, there were no Pete's Coffee around him. That's a complete thought. So a lot of you are thinking, put a period. And then capital R, because capital letters come after the period. Read on to know more, and then maybe about what he did. Whoa, let's read the sentence again to see if it makes more sense. It was already 10:30 and he was in a hurry. He got in the car and he went to go find another Pete's. And a lot of you even think, I think maybe even had your thumb up here. This is called a proper noun because it's the name of Pete's, which is like a coffee shop. We're actually going to capitalize that. Pete's Coffee and the whole thing. To find another Pete's Coffee near him. However, there were no Pete's Coffee around him. Read on to know more about what he did. Wow. Now, this is looking more like a really strong set of sentences, but notice it's less of a run-on sentence now. Let's look at another example. Okay, again, you're going to be putting your thumb up as we read it. Capital letter, you spied it. Beginning of a sentence. They started to play tag, then their mom called. Okay, so two complete thoughts. They started to play tag, then their mom called. We can actually put a comma here. Then their mom called. And let's just go ahead and put a period, right? Because these are different thoughts. And then we're separating our thoughts. So notice how we're putting in a period to separate complete thoughts. She said that it was lunchtime, time to eat. I think the student wanted to add some dialogue, which I know Miss W went over before. She said it was lunchtime. And so maybe we can even add that in. We might even do that by doing this. Sometimes when you add dialogue, you're going to want to press enter, and then you can put your little quotation marks, capital letter, time to eat. And I think she's done talking. So we might even say, she said, or she announced, even better. And then I put a space again. And everybody liked the food. But we're not going to start with the word and. So we might even just erase it and say, capital E, everybody liked the food they wanted to eat, so they started to eat it. Okay, this is good. Everybody liked the food they wanted to eat, so they started to eat it. Notice that conjunction so. But, so they started to eat. But I think the student needs to put a period here because it's otherwise confusing to read it. So they started to eat it. It was tacos. When they finished eating, they said that it was yummy. They got tired playing, so they took a rest. Notice how that sentence is running on and on and on. So where can we put some punctuation or conjunctions to make it easier to read? So a lot of you are thinking right here. And then after that period, we could put a capital letter. It was tacos. It was tacos, and maybe we can add a conjunction. We don't want too short of a sentence sometimes. Like, it was tacos, we could just add a conjunction. And it was tacos, and when they finished eating, they said that it was yummy. That's a great place to put a period. And capital T, they got tired playing, so they took a rest. Whoa. Now, check this out. This is actually a lot easier to read now, and I want you to notice how the periods make it easier for the reader to pause as they're reading. So let me try doing that. And you can read along with me this time. They started to play tag, then their mom called. And actually, I'm going to erase this. I actually want to say and then. She said that it was lunchtime. Time to eat, she announced. Everybody liked the food they wanted to eat, so they started to eat. Notice how I take a little breath here as a reader? It was tacos, and when they finished eating, they said it was yummy. They got tired playing, so they took a rest. Wow, that's really a lot easier to read for me. And I think the writer was able to convey everything they wanted to convey in this writing by adding punctuation and looking for those run-on sentences. So now it's your turn. You're going to go back to your document. Remember, either your first story that you want to publish or your second one, either one. But you're going to first read your document aloud, preferably with someone nearby. So if you have a family member that can be with you, even if they don't speak English, that's okay. Having someone next to you is really helpful, though. And as soon as you notice it, you're going to put your thumb up. Notice it when you used a run-on sentence or didn't punctuate. And then right away in that moment, you're going to fix your errors by typing directly into your draft. And I'm actually going to add a step here. Then I want you to reread what you edited. Reread what you edited. Because then you can really make sure that it's exactly the way you want it to sound. And then you're going to continue the same process by reading further along in your document. So remember, today you're going to be looking to edit for punctuation, and run-on sentences that go on for too long and make it hard for your reader to read. Okay, so today, remember, you're going to go back into your document and really practice editing this, knowing that we're going to be starting our publishing process next week. Okay, best of luck.